Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're going to take a quick look at Loopring, and just before we do, take a quick understanding and see what's going on with Bitcoin as well, right? Because we kind of want to know what's going on with that guy. Simply put, it's kind of just hanging out, right? Kind of boring right now because obviously we have this one-day candlestick close yesterday of roughly about 10%, and today it's obviously up on the day, but don't let that fool you, of course. We always have a green day followed by a red day. So you can see here, green day, green day, green day, green day. Okay, so it's a pretty common characteristic, right? Doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. We could see another dead cat down to 52,000. We'll see soon. Of course, I think this weekend it's pretty safe to presume the price is going to continue to progress either sideways or upwards between 54 and 56. We might see a leg down to 52 early next week, and I think that's likely the bottom for Bitcoin. That's my personal feeling. I'm going to probably start opening positions early next week or middle of next week for my, for my community, of course, through my my trading bot there. And we're going to do that based on the simple fact that I feel like the bottom is getting close, okay? And, if you feel like the bottom is going to drop out, you truly don't want to invest a lot in certain altcoins as far as, strong support and resistance zones being broken. A lot of times that'll happen. So what I'm getting at here is that Bitcoin is getting close to the bottom, but just continue to dollar cost average. That's all I ask. Make sure you add to your position, because I do feel like 75 to 100,000 is still very likely for Bitcoin. Ethereum, 8 to 12 is also extremely likely. So I think we're looking to be in pretty good shape there. All right, so let's take a look at Loopring. Oh, and before we do, totally not a financial advisor, right? I'm here for educational purposes only, but I can tell you I've been trading for a very long time, and I love helping people become better traders, right? That's why I created a trading community, this trading channel, of course, to make sure that we give people, give everyone a leg up in the industry, right? Instead of just giving you the fish, I want to be able to show you how to fish for yourself, right? So hopefully you can learn a little bit here today. Feel free to comment below if you had. If not, that's cool too. Just more importantly, make sure that you keep an open mind and learn what you can. All right, so let's take a quick look here at Loopring. So some of the obvious stuff, we're above both moving averages. That's null and void on the one-day chart. Price moved up so fast, it doesn't matter, right? Well, it's going to be relevant on the 4-hour chart, but not on the one day. We got a price between 50 and 70 on the RSI. That's perfectly fine, normal. Keep this in mind, though, 70 on the RSI was resisted. That's a strong resistance level. So that does imply that somewhere between 327 and about 340 is a strong resistance channel. Okay, so that little area right there, the price couldn't break above. It basically just meant, hey, the price is overextended. It's considered to be overbought, so we're going to sell now, right? That's how the bears are taking their profits. That's why the price is coming back down. Pretty standard for Loopring, honestly. It kind of goes in this up and down, nice little wave pattern. But what's cool is it's working within these Fibonacci retracement lines almost exactly. So you can see this nice little support here at about 213, a nice support as well just recently here at 280. We saw that hit there and didn't go below. Yes, of course, the candle wick went lower, but that's why we use the one-day candlesticks to ensure we understand support and resistance levels. Those are the most important. Those are the most relevant. So, wait for the one-day candlestick to close, and that'll give you a good information on what direction the price is heading, right? But right now we can see here, today and yesterday, price will go no lower than $2.80. What that does, that reaffirms that we have higher lows. Higher lows is a good sign. So we're on the right track here, okay? So good stuff here for the one day. Let's move on over to the 4-hour and see what's going on. First, most obvious, is the 50-day simple moving average working as a strong support level. That held the price up above 280. So that's great. We've seen pretty much a full day's worth of trading above the 50-day simple moving average. So that should effectively continue the price action higher. Okay, so that's a great sign there as well. So we've got basically, some nice bullish / neutral indicators. Taking a look here at the RSI. This is a slight concern because it does imply that we have a resistance at about 50 on the RSI. So if you can kind of see that there, we do have a resistance level kind of keeping the price action down a little bit. Now bear in mind, that's not necessarily a big deal breaker / issue, but commonly you do see the price stay above or below 50, and that tells you if it's bearish or bullish. So overall, we still have a somewhat of a bearish sentiment in the sense of the fact that this is considered to be oversold, right? You normally think that's a good thing, but you want to be above 50 in most cases, because that's usually a strong support or resistance level. All right, moving on to the MACD here, what we can see that we've got, somewhere in a range of, well, nothing really. No, it's not even converging yet. So typically what we'd like to look for is this to come up and this to come down. That gives us that bullish, convergence, so to speak, where the price is flipping. It's basically switching from bearish to bullish sentiment. That's not there yet. So, that really doesn't tell us much of anything at this point. I think the key here is that we are above the 50. That's the important part. And just note that we're still considered bearish on the 4-hour chart, which ultimately is probably one of the best indicators of momentum, right? So Loopring, yes, albeit going up right now, it doesn't have that strong push yet to kind of signify that it's in bullish territory. Okay, so the bears are still effectively in control in that sentiment. Now moving on to the Ishimoga Cloud, also confirming bearish. We are below the cloud still, so even though we have this progression upwards, it's still not enough to be able to give us a buy signal. Yes, the conversion line is above the baseline, but we're not above the cloud yet, right? And the key takeaway here is when you're in the cloud, you don't invest. Now, granted, there's rare instances where you might have other factors that are influencing the price action in the right direction, right? So say you have like an ascending wedge pattern or something that kind of pushes it over the edge, then you can invest while you're in the cloud. But for the most part, it's basically a resistance. And right now, even though we have good, the conversions above the baseline, we still don't have the price above the cloud, and that's an important factor. Okay, so not bullish there either. Take a look at TD sequential. We got a bunch of resets here. We're down to a 6 right now in the retracement. So we could effectively see about 3 more hours to the downside, and maybe just even a bounce off of $2.80, which is, again, confirming itself as a very strong support level. So I'm confident in saying that 280 has been a very strong support. I don't think we're going to likely see that break below. If we do, then we need to reevaluate and understand kind of what that looks like. If it stays above, I think there's a strong chance we'll get a bounce off of $2.80, and we'll probably see a push to the upside. But again, the charts are telling us we got a lot of bearish indications and not a lot of bullish sentiment, right? Now, big picture, we're still bullish. We're above 50 on the RSI on the one-day chart. That's important. But we're still under 50 on the RSI on the 4-hour. That's not ideal. That's disadvantageous. So in this case here, I would say that we don't have any significant buy signals. Just continue to dollar cost average and make sure that you're adding to your position. That would not be a terrible consideration if you are wanting Loopring long term. It's perfectly fine. I do think it has good fundamentals. It'll get there. But the immediate future here, I think in the next 24 hours, we should see somewhat of a consolidation between just say 280 and 327. I would venture to guess that 280 should hold continuously as a support. If it does, great. We could maybe add to our position at that point and watch the price increase from there. Okay. So all good things here for Loopring. I don't really see anything really negative in the big picture. Just the simple fact of the matter is we're going to be kind of stuck going sideways likely for a little bit longer. And once it starts to kind of rev up, we can kind of look at that. I'll set some alerts, make sure we identify that, and we'll review this again here soon. So I do appreciate you joining me here. I look forward to talking to you in the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time.